All right, ready to dive in? Today we're tackling a question you had about how long it really takes to learn something new.
Ooh, yeah.
You sent over some interesting research, and let's be honest,
Yeah.
that 10,000-hour rule we always hear about can be kind of intimidating.
Oh, yeah, super intimidating.
So we're going to unpack all that and hopefully uncover a more encouraging time frame.
You know, it's funny how we get hung up on these big numbers.
Right.
Like 10,000 hours. I mean, this is based on research, but
Yeah.
it's been blown way out of proportion.
Definitely. It's like, oh, so I got to quit my job to learn guitar? No thanks.
Exactly. If you look back at where it came from, that 10,000 hours was from studying like the top performers,
I see.
like Olympic athletes, famous musicians, past grandmasters, the best of the best.
So not just like, I'm pretty good at this for fun. It's like, I'm the best in the world.
Right. It's a totally different level.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Dr. K. Anders Ericsson, he's the researcher who did this. He found a link between tons of practice, like focused practice, and how well these people did in these super competitive fields.
So how'd that turn into everyone thinking any skill takes 10,000 hours?
It's like that game in telephone. You know, the message gets twisted.
Aha, yeah, totally.
It's a catchy number, so people start slapping it on everything, even if it didn't really apply.
Like baking a cake doesn't take 10,000 hours, I hope.
Definitely not. So let's ditch that myth, shall we?
Yes, please. Let's look at what the research actually says about learning new stuff.
Right. Well, there's this familiar pattern that pops up, you know, the learning curve.
Right, I can picture the graph.
Yeah. Steep climb at first, then it kind of levels off.
Like you're learning fast at the beginning and then it gets harder to improve.
Exactly. Think about when you learn to ride a bike.
Oh, yeah.
Those first wobbly tries, then suddenly you're off. Feels huge.
But then, yeah, you hit that point where you're not getting better as quickly.
And a lot of people give up there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's discouraging.
But here's the good news. Research says there's a sweet spot.
Okay, tell me more.
It's where you've moved past being a total beginner, and you're actually pretty decent.
I like the sound of that. How long to reach that sweet spot?
Okay, are you ready?
Hit me with it.
About 20 hours of focused practice.
Wait, seriously, just 20 hours?
Yep, that's what the research suggests, on average.
That changes everything. Suddenly, learning Spanish doesn't seem so impossible.
Exactly. 20 hours is way less scary than 10,000.
That's like 45 minutes a day for a month. I can do that.
Totally doable. And it seems to work for a ton of different skills.
So we're talking about real skills, not just like tying your shoes.
Right. Substantial stuff. Of course, becoming a brain surgeon or a concert pianist, that'll take longer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But for most things, those skills we want to learn just for ourselves,
Yeah.
20 hours is a game changer.
It feels way less overwhelming, for sure.
Right. Like, okay, I can commit to that.
Okay, but it can't be just any old 20 hours, right?
Oh, absolutely not. There's got to be a strategy.
So how do we make those 20 hours count?
There's a 4-step method that research suggests is super effective.
Okay, give me step 1.
Break down the skill into smaller chunks. Don't try to learn it all at once.
So instead of being overwhelmed by the whole thing,
Yeah.
you're finding the building blocks.
Right, like the essential parts.
Focus on the foundation first.
Exactly. And here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Practice those most important parts first, the ones that'll give you the most bang for your buck.
Get the basics down before you try the fancy stuff.
Exactly. Okay, step 2 is all about empowering yourself to self-correct.
Interesting.
Find a few good resources, like 3 to 5.
Books, courses, that sort of thing. So
Exactly.
you get a solid understanding.
Right, you don't have to become an expert on the subject,
Yeah,
but learn enough to spot your own mistakes.
like a built-in feedback loop.
Exactly. Okay, step 3 is crucial.
Lay it on me.
Minimize distractions. Create a space where you can really focus.
That's hard these days. Our phones are always buzzing.
I know, it takes effort, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Find a quiet corner, a library, wherever you can concentrate.
It's like a little learning sanctuary.
Exactly. All right, ready for the final step.
Hit me with it.
Commit to those 20 hours. Push through the tough parts at the beginning.
Oh, I know that feeling. Ugh, I'm terrible at this. Why am I even trying?
We've all been there. But by committing to those 20 hours,
Yeah.
you're more likely to stick with it and see real progress.
It's about trusting the process.
And trusting yourself.
That's powerful stuff.
It is. You know, you actually have a perfect example of this in action.
Are you talking about my ukulele attempt?
Yeah. You mentioned trying it out a while back.
Oh, yeah, that was an experience. I always loved the sound of the ukulele.
Yeah.
And when I heard about this 20-hour rule, I thought, why not?
So what did you do? Just grab it and start strumming?
Well, first I had to actually get a ukulele.
Uh-huh, right. You need the tool before you could build.
Exactly. And even getting it ready to play was part of the learning.
What do you mean?
It came with the strings off. I had to figure out how to put them on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then tune it was like, whoa, there's more to this than I thought.
There often is.
Yeah.
But you remember to break down the skill, right?
Yeah. I wasn't trying to be a ukulele master right away.
Good. So what was your starting point?
I found this awesome medley by a band called Axis of Awesome.
Okay.
They played like tons of popular songs using just 4 chords.
Really?
Yeah, G, D, M, and C. It was amazing.
So you instinctively broke down a complex skill.
Yeah, instead of hundreds of chords, I focused on those 4.
That's smart. It's about finding that balance between challenge and progress.
Totally. And it's amazing how quickly you can start making music that way.
That's deliberate practice for you. You weren't just strumming randomly.
Yeah, it was intentional.
And those 4 chords, they became your foundation.
Exactly. And with each practice session, I felt less clueless.
That's how it goes. You gain proficiency, you gain confidence.
It definitely kept me motivated.
It's a positive feedback loop.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all easy. There were definitely frustrating moments.
Oh, of course. That's completely normal.
Especially at the beginning.
That's part of pushing yourself outside your comfort zone.
So how do you get through those rough patches?
This is where that commitment to the 20 hours comes in.
Ah, okay.
It's knowing the discomfort is temporary, trusting that if you keep at it, you'll break through.
You have to have faith in the process.
And faith in yourself.
This whole ukulele thing really changed how I think about learning.
How so?
Before, I thought it was just super hard and took forever.
Yeah.
The 20-hour rule showed me it's way more doable than I thought.
That's a powerful realization.
It is. And the more I learn about this stuff, the more I realize it's not about some special talent.
Right.
It's about consistent effort and, yeah, practice.
Absolutely. And being okay with making mistakes along the way.
Definitely. It's about knowing we can all learn and grow.
That's a key takeaway, for sure.
We've covered so much already. I'm excited to keep going.
Me too. We'll be back in part 2 to dig deeper into those practice techniques and talk more about mindset.
Can't wait. Stay tuned, everyone.
We're just getting started. Welcome back to our skill acquisition deep dive.
I'm ready for more.
In part 1, we kind of busted that 10,000 hour myth.
Yeah, that was
And
satisfying.
discovered that just 20 hours of focused practice
Yeah.
can lead to some serious progress.
We even saw it in action with my ukulele experiment.
Right.
It's amazing what you can learn in a few weeks with the right approach.
Speaking of approach, we started unpacking that 4-step method.
Yeah, for making the most of those 20 hours.
Deconstructing the skill, getting that knowledge to self-correct,
Right.
and minimizing those pesky distractions.
Oh, yeah, those distractions.
But there's more to effective practice than just those initial steps, right?
Totally. It's not enough to just put in the time.
Right. We got to practice smart.
So what other techniques can we use to learn more effectively?
One of the most powerful tools is feedback.
Makes sense.
Getting regular input on your progress helps you identify blind spots and adjust as you go.
It's like having a coach, like a personal trainer for your brain.
Exactly. But what if you're learning on your own?
Yeah, that's a good question.
How do you get that feedback loop going?
I'm all ears.
Even without a teacher, there are ways
Okay.
you can record yourself practicing
Interesting.
and then review it critically.
Ooh, that sounds kind of scary.
It can be a little cringy at first,
Yeah.
but it's super helpful for spotting areas to improve.
Like holding up a mirror to your practice.
Exactly. Another option is online communities.
Ah,
Forums related to what you're learning.
yeah.
Share your progress, ask for feedback.
Learn from others.
Exactly. It's like creating a virtual learning buddy system.
I like it. So it's about actively seeking out feedback,
Yeah.
even if you're not in a formal class.
Right. Now, here's one that might surprise you.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition. It involves revisiting what you're learning,
Uh-huh.
but at increasingly spaced intervals.
So instead of cramming it all at once,
Right.
you spread it out over time.
Exactly. It's all about how our brains actually form memories.
Oh, that makes sense.
By revisiting the information at spaced intervals,
Yeah.
we strengthen those neural connections.
So we're more likely to remember it long term.
That's it. It's like giving your brain little workouts,
I like that analogy.
reminding it what's important.
Are there any tools that can help with this?
Oh, tons. Flashcard apps like Anki are super popular.
Okay.
There are even programs that use it for language learning.
Cool. So
Well-
we can use tech to make it more efficient.
Absolutely. It's about being strategic.
Right. With your time and effort.
Exactly. Now, another technique to boost learning.
I'm ready. Give it to me.
It's called interleaving.
Interleaving. What's that?
It's mixing up the order you practice different skills or concepts.
So instead of practicing one thing until I feel like I've got it, I should jump around between different parts.
Exactly. It might feel less efficient at first,
Okay.
but studies show it leads to better long-term retention
Really?
and a deeper understanding of how different things connect.
Like our brains are making connections between the different pieces of information.
That's a great way to put it. You're creating a web of knowledge.
I like that, a web of knowledge.
Interleaving challenges your brain to work harder.
And that effort actually helps you learn better.
Exactly. So all these techniques, there's a common theme,
What's that?
pushing your brain outside its comfort zone.
Yeah, I'm sensing that.
It's when we challenge ourselves that we grow.
Like lifting weights, you got to keep pushing yourself to get stronger.
Exactly. Same principle with your brain.
Give it a good workout.
Right. But just like with exercise, find a balance.
Okay.
Challenge and enjoyment. You got to enjoy the process too.
So true. If it's not fun, you're not going to stick with it.
Right. Which brings us to another crucial aspect. Mindset.
Mindset. That's huge.
It plays a massive role in how we approach learning.
If you believe you can learn, you're more likely to keep going even when it's tough.
Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
It's all about our beliefs.
Exactly. That's where growth mindset comes in.
Okay, I've heard that term.
It's the belief that our abilities aren't fixed. They can be developed through effort and practice.
So it's not about some innate talent or intelligence.
Exactly. It's about believing you can improve.
So people with a growth mindset, they see challenges differently.
Yeah, they see them as opportunities to learn and grow.
They don't let mistakes get them down.
Right. They see them as valuable feedback.
So how do we develop a growth mindset if we don't naturally have it?
One powerful way is to focus on the process,
Okay.
not just the outcome.
Instead of, I need to be fluent in Spanish by next year,
Right.
it's more like, I'm going to practice Spanish every day.
Exactly. Enjoy the journey, not just the destination.
Love that.
Another way is to reframe challenges. Instead of thinking, I'm terrible at this,
Yeah.
think, I'm learning, I'm getting better.
It's about changing your self-talk.
Exactly. You're training your brain to see setbacks as opportunities.
Wow, that's powerful stuff.
It is. You're unlocking your potential.
I'm feeling inspired.
It's exciting stuff. We've talked about so many great techniques.
Yeah. Feedback, spaced repetition, interleaving.
Cultivating a growth mindset.
I feel like I'm leveling up my learning game.
That's the goal. But there's one more essential piece we got to talk about.
Okay, I'm ready.
We'll dive into that in part 3 of our deep dive,
Can't wait.
where we'll explore the power of consistency
Okay,
and share some actionable strategies to make learning a habit.
that's what I need.
Stay tuned, everyone. We're coming back with the grand finale.
All right, back for the final round of our skill acquisition deep dive. We've covered some serious ground, from busting myths to exploring all sorts of learning techniques.
It's been quite a journey.
I feel like I've got a whole new toolbox for learning now.
We've definitely armed ourselves with some powerful strategies.
But you mentioned there's one final piece to the puzzle, that secret ingredient.
Yes, the glue that holds it all together, the bridge between excitement and actual mastery.
Yeah, you gotta tell me, what is it?
It's consistency, my friend, consistency.
Consistency, huh? Makes sense, but also sounds a bit, well, boring.
I know, it's not as flashy as some of those other techniques,
Right.
but trust me, it's the key.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's not enough to just practice intensely for a few days and then forget about it.
Yeah, I've definitely been guilty of that.
We all have. To truly make a skill stick, to integrate it into your life,
Yeah.
you need to make it a habit.
So like brushing my teeth or making coffee every morning.
Exactly. It's about creating a system, a routine that allows you to practice regularly.
Okay, but life gets busy. How do I actually find the time to practice consistently?
It's about prioritizing and getting a bit creative with your time.
All right, give me some examples.
Maybe it's 15 minutes of practice before bed, or listening to a language podcast on your commute. Maybe you practice guitar while dinner's cooking.
So it's about finding those little pockets of time.
Exactly. And then making practice non-negotiable.
Like write it in my calendar, treat it like an important appointment.
Exactly. And don't try to do too much at once.
Okay.
Start small, maybe 15 minutes a day, then gradually increase it.
So like those workout plans, start slow and build up.
That's the idea. Small, consistent actions, they add up over time.
And I guess having someone to keep you accountable helps too.
Definitely. A learning buddy, a community, even just telling a friend about your goal.
It's like having a support system.
Exactly. And don't forget to celebrate those small wins along the way.
Oh, that's important.
Did you learn a new chord? Master a tricky code. Give yourself a high five.
It's easy to forget to do that.
It is, but celebrating those milestones keeps you motivated.
It reminds you that you're making progress.
Exactly. And remember, the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
That's a good point.
It's about stretching yourself, expanding your horizons.
So as we wrap up, what's the big takeaway here?
Learning new skills. It's not about some magical talent.
Okay.
It's about effort, practice, and embracing the whole journey.
It's about knowing we can all learn and grow.
And that it's more achievable than we think.
Yeah. We don't need to overhaul our lives to learn something new.
Just 20 hours of focused practice can make a real difference.
So what are you waiting for? What skill have you always wanted to learn?
What's holding you back?
Fear, time, that little voice saying you're not good enough.
Challenge those thoughts. Take that first step.
Pick up that guitar and roll in that chorus. Spend 15 minutes today exploring something new.
That first step could lead you to a new passion, a hidden talent.
Or just a sense of accomplishment and joy.
So go out there, embrace the challenge, and remember, the world is your classroom.
Happy learning, everyone!